Welcome, guys. Welcome to the exclusive case study series on supply chain management. Today's topic for the case study is theory of constraints, TOC. ये काफी पॉपुलर नाम है, एक मैनेजमेंट फिलॉसफी है, and you would have heard the name theory of constraints in so many contexts. But let's today try to understand what is this theory of constraint. Let's try and understand apart from जो हमने case studies की वहाँ पे constraints were given. Uh, Today's case study is going to be slightly different in the sense that we'll have the case study on logistics planning, product flow optimization only. But how do we analyze this using TOC as a concept? Yes. So it's a very, very interesting thing, more of application of the concepts that we have learnt about. So let's start with how this theory came into being. So there is this book called The Goal. So it's a must read for any supply chain professional, anybody who is interested in supply chain management. I think I read this book while I was pursuing my MBA around 25 years back, and it still inspires me. So the way today, when I was putting it all together, I went through, the brief of all these chapters, and again, it was so indulging that I was engrossed in this. So this is a very popular book by Eliyahu. Sorry, one moment. Yeah. So this is a very popular book on process improvement, and the author of this book is Eliyahu M. Goldratt. So this is about a manufacturing plant, and it revolves around a character called Alex. He is an educated engineer, MBA, and a competent manager at Unico. And he was working somewhere, and he was excited to come back to his hometown. And suddenly, he realizes that the factory that he is working with uh, is facing a lot of difficulties, a lot of challenges, problems, and they were on the verge of closing down. So they were on the verge of closing down, and some of the problems were like typical supply chain problems that we have looked into in the past few sessions. So shipments are always late, their production backlog is growing, and somehow, uh, yet the inventories are also increasing. Backlogs bhi hai, shipments late hai, and inventories are also increasing. And they are not able to figure out, why they can't ship on time with good quality products and at a reasonable cost. So he is being given, Alex is being given by the management 3 months time to turn around, or the plant might get shut down. And the story revolves around he bumps into his old physics professor, Jonah, who challenges his thinking. The way he used to think, कि मेरे को क्या करना चाहिए. He doesn't give him direct solutions, but he challenges his, कि what is your thought about. So, for example, when they were talking about productivity, it was what is productivity? So he said, Jonah, his professor, talked about every action that brings a company closer to its goal is productive, and every action that does not bring a company closer to its goal is non-productive. So focus on, things that are productive. Now he used the term bringing company closer to a goal, and that set him thinking, what is a goal? So finally, after a lot of deliberations within himself and his team, they were always talking about getting robos to improve their production and things like that, and stuff related to different aspects of production. But then finally, they came to the conclusion that the goal is not about cost effective purchasing or employing the right team members, latest technology. producing quality products or capturing market share, but rather the the company is in the business of making money. So anything, any activity that makes more money for them is productive. Anything that is not making more money is non-productive. So the way they started thinking about what they need to do to save the plant went around, focusing on this particular goal. So finally, after a whole lot of things that action plans that they went about, uh, NX mobilizes his team at the plant to find ways to improve the flow of production rather than costs or inventory management or things like that. So he looked at the entire flow and, along the way, they discovered the importance of constraints. कि क्या constraint थे, क्या bottlenecks थे, which led them to, being inefficient. So they started removing those constraints and improving their profitability. And that's how they could save the save the plant from being shut down. So uh, importantly, they looked at three important metrics. So the first one was throughput. Throughput was like how do we get in more money? How do we produce more? And therefore, we'll be able to sell more and things like that. So the first metrics that they looked at was throughput. The second metrics that they looked very closely was on inventory. So what is there in work in progress within the system, money lying within the system, right? And the third thing was the operating expense, that the expense that would be needed to convert this inventory into throughput. So one is in terms of financial management, throughput was, the money that the company would get. Inventory is something that is still within the system, but not able to translate into sales. And operating expenses, what they need to spend uh, to convert this inventory into throughput. So these were the three important parameters metrics that they looked at, and they improved on all these three metrics by removing bottlenecks at every stage. So this is the gist of this book, and the how is it relevant to us is the theory of constraints emerged from this concept. So it's a very interesting read, very highly recommended read. You should definitely go in for this book, The Goal. Uh, uh, it will give a lot of insights, and it's just not about the plant at all. There is his personal life going along with his wife and the kid. They go tracking, and some of the learnings came from there and things like that. So it's a very interesting book on also balancing personal life and professional life and things like that.